Hi everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. This week in our Torah portion, we are beginning the second Parsha of the 5 books of the Torah, and it is the Parsha of Noach, which many of you probably remember from way back when. It's a story that is so interesting to me because in so many ways I feel like it's the story that most people are familiar with. They remember the flood, they remember the ark, they remember the rainbow. And yet one of the things that I love about the story of Noach is that it reminds us that sometimes it's really important for us to revisit the Torah with our adult lenses or with our more sophisticated lenses than they have ever been before. So the story that we know from probably childhood days in religious school, it's a story of Noach and how God told Noach to basically build the boat, right? To build the ark. And what he was supposed to do is he was supposed to build the ark, and people were supposed to come up to him and say, "What are you doing?" He was building it in the public square, and he was supposed to explain to them that he was building an ark because basically the people had become so bad, so immoral, so corrupt that God was going to destroy God's creation and start again. So basically, Noach was supposed to issue this warning and tell people to do their teshuvah, to change their ways, or else. But what ended up happening was actually really different than that. The people saw Noach building the ark in the public square, and they mocked him and they ridiculed him and they made fun of him, and basically they thought he was like the crazy man in the square. I'm not so sure that one can blame them for that, but it was an ineffective attempt to create change. So basically, we know the story. People don't change their ways. God tells Noach and his family to get on the ark. He brings the animals, and then the floods come and they destroy humanity and much of the earth. So one of the amazing things about this Torah portion to me is just this question that it begs us to ask year after year after year, which is, are people capable of change? Why don't people change? And is it possible for us to become different than we've been or than we are? And the truth is that thankfully, this story comes pretty close after a story that we read over Yom Kippur, which is the story of Jonah. And one of the things that I love about the story of Jonah, and you probably remember that one too, because Jonah ends up in the belly of a fish. But the story of Jonah is actually another man. It's not Noach, but it's Yonah or Jonah. And he is called upon to go to a faraway place called Nineveh, and to tell the people in Nineveh to change. And so he tries to run away from God. He tries to run away from the calling, but he ends up going to Nineveh. And he tells the people in Nineveh that they have to change their ways, right, or else. And the people of Nineveh are so open to change that as soon as he delivers that message, they change. And then God changes God's plan and doesn't destroy the people in Nineveh. So I feel like on one hand, it's a sad story, the story of Noach. It's about a people that needed to change but couldn't or wouldn't. And then the story of Nineveh, or the Ninevites, that gives us some hope that that change is possible. And so my question for you all on this second week into a new Torah cycle is, over the high holidays, we all made a lot of plans. We sort of realized the places in our lives that needed fixing, or ways of being of ours that needed changing. And most of us, if not all of us, sort of recommitted most likely to doing things differently in the new year. But now the new year's upon us. So what were those dreams? What were those visions? What were those commitments that you made? And if you do believe that change is possible, which I do, and our tradition does, then what might you want to do a little bit differently? Looking forward to Shabbat together. Wishing you rejuvenation, and please God, it should be a year of growth and change in any ways that you wish. Shabbat Shalom.